Mike Hawkins, thanks for joining me on Brite Cast. I love your book. I want to hear a lot more about your story and stuff. So maybe just start out with who you are and what you do, and we'll go from there.
Oh, okay. I don't know where you want to start.
Yeah.
I'll just start someplace and we'll see.
Well, maybe start with the inspiration for the book, and we'll go from there.
About where the book starts. So the book starts out. I'm in corporate America.
Okay.
And I say, look, one day I decided I'm going to clock out of the 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was going for me. I ditched my luxury condo, my tailored suits, my fancy sports car. Yeah. I said I ditched my smoking hot girlfriend.
Oh, that was probably tough.
Everything. And basically, over about a 50-year period, it led me on a path. I went from California to Saudi Arabia, to Southeast Asia. Then I ended up around the Indo-Pacific Islands, ended up in Hawaii. And I mentioned along the way, a lot of interesting things happened. I was attacked by sharks. I was lost at sea. I dealt with volcanoes and earthquakes and a whole variety of things. I was locked up in a Bangkok jail.
Ooh, we'll get into that.
All kinds of things. But the book's about adventure, but adventure isn't the main message. I set out on an adventure, but other things happened.
Yeah,
and I worked with some incredible companies, but not the normal corporate environment. I did some things I would have never had an opportunity to do, particularly in the networking world, data networking. And they led to an opportunities, actually, to publish about 5 books in the IT space. So, I got to do a lot of interesting things. And, I got married at one point, and I had 3 kids that grew up overseas. They ended up basically growing up in Hawaii.
Oh, wow. That's a good way to grow up.
And it's a great way. And it's funny you mention it because it's kind of obvious, but to them, they didn't know.
Right. Well,
a
little bit spoiled in that regard.
And then it was funny because they came to the U.S. to go to college. And they felt a little out of place. And they're a little shy. They kind of but they found out after a little while when people knew they were from Hawaii, and they had the license plates on their car and everything, they were like gods. And then they said, there's something to all of this.
Yeah, so we're going to visit for Thanksgiving or Christmas. We're going with you. That's what I would say.
So it was just a great, a lot of things happened. It was just a great experience. There were definitely challenges, but overall, I'm still doing it.
Right.
What
was the I can't take this anymore moment? Was there something specific, or were you kind of ramping up to it over time?
I was living in the Philippines for about 15 years, and life was very good for me. I was over there working for a Asian Development Bank.
Okay.
And I was on semi-diplomatic status, so I had a lot of privileges. Had nice cars.
You could speed everywhere and not get in trouble.
Wherever I wanted. Everything was tax-free. I don't think Americans realize it, but they were paying a lot of money for my lifestyle. But
we won't tell them.
Very, very nice. And my kids were in private schools, the whole bit. But at one point I says, can't do this. I like it. It's good for me.
Right.
But I said, man, I don't want my kids growing up in this because, you have domestic helpers, you have drivers.
Right.
At one point I had bodyguards. And I says, I don't want my kids to grow up like this.
What age were they roughly when that happened?
When we left, my daughter was going into high school, which is the worst time to take them out of school.
Yeah. To a new country.
And then my one boy was 6th grade, the other one was going into 3rd. And I said, this isn't a normal life, okay? We got to go back to the United States. But the thing is, I didn't really go back to the United States. I went back to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Which, it's like a different country.
It really is.
But
I mean, I haven't been there, but, you know.
I'm glad we ended up there.
Yeah.
You know, it was real easy transition for them. And it was just a great experience. And now they look back and they know how lucky they were to grow up in that environment.
So were they born in the Philippines?
My daughter was born in California, but that's because her mother came to California to give birth.
Okay.
The two boys were actually born in the Philippines.
So do you get a dual citizenship from there?
No.
Is that possible?
No,
Okay.
no. It would be easy to do if I wanted to do that, but it doesn't come naturally, okay?
Yeah.
You know, just because you're a diplomat doesn't mean your kids automatically get citizenship,
Right.
you know, preference.
Yeah, yeah. So they were, you know, school age when they went to Hawaii. What island were you on?
In Hawaii?
Yeah.
I was on the Big Island. I was in Kona.
Yeah.
On the Big Island.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was funny too because I was doing some technical things. I was building out networks over there for this big bank. And some of it was really unusual, what we were doing at the time. So some of the businessmen that were in Manila, they knew what I was doing. And they says, hey, we want you to work with us on some projects. We just want you to consult with us.
Yeah, that's great.
And one of them wanted to build like a resort on the southern side of the Big Island. He says, Mike, I want you to come in. I want you to be our technical consultant. So, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So he flies me into the Big Island with some other people. And I loved it. I grew up in California. And I'd never even been there. I thought, man, what's this all about?
Yeah.
So I was there for about 10 days, okay? Brought my wife, kids over, okay? They stayed for a few days, and then we flew back to the Philippines. I went back about 3 months later, and within 24 hours, I found a real estate agent,
Yeah.
and I bought a house.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you were able to still work for them for a while you were building their resort and everything?
They never built the resort.
Okay.
But
Still paid you?
Hey, they gave me a free trip.
Yeah, that's great.
I wasn't going to ask for
Yeah.
much more. But I went. Then several years later, I moved into the house, and I don't know how that worked because there's no working on the Big Island. You either work in the tourist industry or you're a construction worker. That's it. There's not. But I did it, and one thing led to another. The work kind of showed up.
That's awesome.
Out of nowhere.
Were you like an LLC or something for yourself, or just an independent contractor for people?
At first, I actually worked with a couple of guys. We set up a company in the United States. Okay, that was in the year about 2000.
Okay.
Company started off great. Lasted for about 6 months. We got hit by that .com.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
The boom.
And then the bust.
The bust.
Yeah, it just wiped us out. Totally wiped us out. And then a couple of us, we went just, freelancers, doing some little consulting and such on the side. So,
Did that give you the opportunity to really get into the action sports and stuff like that, and more scuba diving and just having more flexibility?
In a way,
yeah.
Yeah, but I was when I was living around Southeast Asia, that's like the scuba diving there is incredible.
Oh, I'm sure.
The Philippines is 7,000 islands. Indonesia's, I don't know, 13. I can't remember, 13,000.
Yeah.
Papua New Guinea, Palau, Thailand, all these places. The scuba diving was.
And quick flights to go to those other places too.
Excuse me?
Quick flights to go to the other places.
Easy flights.
Easy flights. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was places particularly in the Philippines that had incredible surfing, and at like Siargao Island. And at the time I was there, nobody even knew about it. It to get there from Manila took you three days.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but now it's a big tourist spot.
Right.
Not what it used to be.
Did you go by boat or something for 3 days?
What you do is you fly from Manila down to Cebu, which is a large city in the middle of the Philippines, and you take a small airplane down. I forgot the name of the town, but it's close to Siargao. Then you take a ferry across to that. It's a small island. You take a ferry across, and they call them jeepneys. It's like a local taxi.
Yeah.
It looks like a jeep, but it's a taxi, and they take you into the final place.
That's awesome.
Took 3 days.
Yeah, most people with having a 9 to 5, they'd have to go back home after those 3 days because they only get a week off or 2 weeks off a year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. So when did you come up with the constant and never-ending adventure, like, kind of slogan for yourself?
I started writing this book about 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago. But I never intended to write a book. I was going to take a course on keynote speaking, okay? And I thought, you know what? I better write up a little story,
right?
At least to have it ready, and
yeah,
I could talk to the people about it. So I just started with a real simple story, okay? And then the story got bigger, and I showed it to people. They liked it. So I did another one. They liked it. I says, man, I got a whole bunch of these,
right.
Yeah. So I ended up doing, I don't know, like 7 or 8 stories. And then somebody says, let's put them together in a book.
Right. I mean, at that point.
Yeah, but they didn't really go together perfectly. So I had to do some massaging. And, it's funny because if you look at the book, it's not just adventure. There's a lot of introspection.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm talking about, what did I learn about purpose? What did I learn about a whole variety of personal things? And, you can't do that looking ahead. You can only do that looking back.
Right.
And so I says, what is the common thing here? And I says, it's all about adventure. You step out, and now you're into adventure.
Right.
And once you're into this adventure space, it's all unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. Okay? And so you got to discover. And then when you start discovering, you start learning about yourself. And so I says, constant, never-ending adventure. And then I thought, this kind of comes from constant, never-ending improvement, which is a term from the Japanese Kaizen. I said, yeah, they kind of go together. I says, I'm going to expand on this. That's going to be the central theme. So I did that. And then I started looking up CANA. And then I found out, that's the name of the city that you had they call it the wedding at CANA.
Yeah.
That was the first miracle.
Right.
Jesus, did where he turned the water into wine. And
it's my favorite miracle.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it is. I thought CANA, transformation. It's a major transformation in just a normal environment. It's just a wedding, nothing special. And it was the first one. I said, these kind of go together.
Yeah.
And I says, sounds like CANA. And I says, I'm going to go with this.
Yeah, and it's great. It's a great theme, and because it really weaves its way through the book. As I just finished reading it. A lot you do talk about faith and stuff. So, did you grow up Christian? How do you consider your faith now? And I grew up very Christian, and we went to Baptist school, and I went to Pentecostal youth groups and stuff like that. And I was in a Christian emo screamo band, metal band
Oh,
for a
really?
while. Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, I've struggled with my faith as I get older, but I'm like went through a deconstruction sort of thing. And now I'm kind of like getting back to what do I really believe? So, it's interesting, the stuff that you brought up. So, what's your history with everything?
Cool. Yeah, similar in some ways.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in a very Christian environment. I think my mom, very Christian, and my dad kind of followed along because he had to.
Yeah.
And in fact, she had some like cousins and such that were actually ministers. Didn't know them very well, but she was very, very Christian. But I tended to be a little rebellious. In fact, the minister told her one day, he says, Mike asks a lot of hard questions.
Right.
And I wasn't getting the answers I wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
God's not scared of the hard questions.
No.
It's the pastors that don't know the answers that are scared of hard questions.
Are they maybe it's better they just say, I don't really know this one.
Right.
But they don't. They try to give you an answer. It's crap.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have problems with that today. They're saying, I'm not getting the answers I want.
Right.
So one of the things that I think helped me is when I went to Saudi Arabia. That's Islam. And I just took it as an opportunity to learn about it.
Right.
I had a lot of people I knew, people I worked with, friends, men, women, and I would ask women, I says, what do you think about wearing the habaya? And the answers I got were kind of unexpected, and I says, what do you think about not being able to drive? I thought, particularly the ones that I met that went to universities in the United States.
You think would be a little more
And I thought they might be a little rebellious.
Right.
They weren't. Okay? They said, look, I says, like on driving, they said, driving over there is a pain in the butt. It really is. It's just chaos. She says, man, I got drivers. Take me and I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Look at it as a blessing instead of a bad thing.
I said, well, what about being covered? They says, you know what? I don't look at it as having to be covered. I look at it as a sign of respect. And I go, yeah. We make a lot of sacrifices. Why do we make a lot of times it's a sign of respect. We fast. Why? Sign of respect. And I says, yeah, it all makes sense. They didn't like it.
Right.
But they didn't dislike it either.
They didn't feel forced to do it, more just this is what it is, and that's okay.
No.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of misconceptions, particularly in the United States, about what's really happening.
Right.
Okay? So, but I learned a lot. I was able to ask real people real questions.
Right.
So I learned about it.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Southeast Asia. And I used to go over to Thailand, okay? And I used to talk to the taxi cab drivers about Buddhism.
Right. Yeah.
And in Thailand, it was, there's different types of Buddhism. It's not all the same. Just like Islam, you got Shia.
And Christian, you got who knows
Christian,
so many
you got
different.
a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, they're different.
Yeah.
They don't all go the same way. And I would talk to the capsi, and I say, I forgot a lot of it, but like we'd have 10 commandments or whatever. He was mentioning to me they have 5, but they have to focus on one. They don't have to follow all of them. She says, we got to focus on one. I don't know if this is true,
Right.
but
That's how he believed, at least.
that's what
yeah.
he believed. And those were the, it was just interesting to listen to people's, okay? And then you start to find out what are the commonalities?
Right.
Oh, yeah. This ties back to Christianity this way. And so at the end of all of this, there was more, but it gave me a different view of Christianity. And it actually made my Christianity stronger. And at the same time, respect for the others,
Right.
because we do have things in common.
Right.
So let's focus on that.
Yeah.
And let the
Well, I
others.
think, for me growing up, it was always trying to convert people. And that's not, you're never going to prove God to somebody. Like, they have to go their own journey. You can say what your experience is, but that's the best you can do. If you're ever trying to convince someone of the reality or your just belief in something, it just doesn't work that way. Politics or anything, it doesn't work.
I did some adventure, what we consider adventurous things, dangerous, exciting, whatever. But adventure doesn't have to be, I say that in the book. We have a misconception. Even the definitions in the dictionary are not right because, there's a lot of ways to do an adventure. And basically it's just stepping into the unknown.
Right.
And like my subtitle, doing new, hard, and dangerous things.
And that could be a plethora of things. Yeah.
Hey, learning to do pen drawings.
Yeah.
Painting. It's not going to be. It's new. It's hard.
Being in Shark Attacks is a little more exciting to talk about.
It's a little more direct.
Yeah.
But I'm working with another person now. I met him in the gym. He's going to do a book with me.
Nice.
The next one. And I forgot the name of the condition that he has, but he has a very much stroke-like condition, symptoms. That's an adventure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the one you will ask for, but
my son, I'm getting him interested now. His daughter, 8 years old, in the last year, 2 brain cancer surgeries.
Oh, wow.
And she just finished up the last chemo.
Wow.
That's an adventure.
Yeah.
And you talk about unknown.
And terrifying for the family and everything, I'm sure.
And man, when you step into that unknown, now there's work to do. Okay? And you start to you explore like you are, like Lewis and Clark, You explore, you discover. You discover a lot of things, but you discover something about yourself that you never knew before.
Right.
It's the only way you're going to find out.
And your resilience, being a big part of it. I mean,
I think everybody comes back to resilience. True. But I think it's bigger than resilience.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's my limited vocabulary.
Well, everybody, even when they read my book, they'll say, I want to know how to overcome fear. I'm not going to tell you.
Right.
Because I'm going to get back to what you said.
Yeah.
You discover what we do is we have revelations. Okay? We have them all through our life. All right? It never stops.
Right.
And when we get them, we get kind of excited. We says, "Oh man, I learned about mindset. I learned about positive thinking. I got to go tell everybody.
Right.
I got to write a book.
Yeah.
You know how many books there are on mindset?
There's too many.
There's a ton.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Right.
Because what they're doing, number one, they did something. They had a revelation. Oh, I want to give you my opinion.
Right.
But that was on your unique experience.
Right.
And we should all listen. But don't follow it.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, don't follow me. But listen to my revelation.
Right. And how that uniquely affected you. Yeah.
Now you go out. I want you to go. Have an adventure. And have your own revelations. But what we do is we read a book. Or we got a quote.
Right.
Oh, the quote is this.
Yeah.
No, that was Aurelius's revelation.
Right. What's yours?
What's yours?
Right.
Okay. So you mentioned, everybody has their opinion. Cool. Share it. But then encourage people to do their own thing.
I think a lot of people don't know where to start. Potentially too. Like for you, if you already were active in scuba diving and something like that, and it doesn't have to be that intense, like you're saying, but that's definitely a way that pushes your, what your reality is going to be, what kind of fear is going to pop up. If you're, just going to the farmer's market, that's not exactly the same thing,
If you go to a Thai farmer's market.
Oh, there we go. Be careful which spices you get. Yeah. All sorts of stuff.
Some interesting things there.
Yeah.
Where do you start? Yes. In fact, a couple things there is that what I talk about, if you look at one of the very first chapters, I say, just get on the field.
Yeah.
Get off the sideline onto the field. Okay. There's some preparation to do, but just, even if you don't prepare, get on the damn field.
Right.
I'll bring up the guys that are probably, we just had the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
These guys are probably the most prepared mentally, physically, a lot of them this time, spiritually, to get onto that field to do something incredible. But what you don't see is in the locker room before the game, half of them are in the bathroom vomiting.
Right.
Okay? I've been there.
Yeah.
And what happens? You get on the football field. I used to play rugby.
Okay.
You get on the field, and after the first play, the first hit,
Yeah. Then it's on.
everything's finished.
Yeah.
Who cares? You're not scared anymore.
Right. That was a bit of stage fright when I first started playing music and stuff. But as soon as that first chord goes, we're in and out, and immediately, but without that fear and not letting myself, be overcome by it, then I would never have the other side of the experience, and the awesome, places I've played and the experiences I've had, if I didn't, push myself to do it. I had to want to do it enough, right?
Well, and you had to believe your identity had to be, I am a musician.
Yeah.
Okay, if you say I'm not a musician,
Right.
I don't care how hard you try, it'll work for a little while.
Right.
You're not going to go anywhere. No,
Yeah.
you may not be a good musician. That's okay.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, I'm in the process of becoming
Right.
a musician.
Yeah.
Okay? That's okay too. All right? But if you just say, I'm not a musician, I'm a, I'm a painter.
Right.
I paint pictures. You're wasting your time.
Right.
Get the identity first. In my case,
How would you say you do that, where it's like, sort of power of your subconscious mind sort of stuff, like where you're just kind of affirming yourself and
yes, in that way. First, first of all, what is your identity?
I think a lot of people struggle with that, including myself at times.
Say, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you come up with? Who am I?
I mean, for me, I don't honestly going through all my I would have said something different when I was like very religious, and now having like reconstructing, I'm not exactly sure all the time. I know what I do, and I know what I can do, but like, I think that's one of the inspiring sort of, all right, well, I got to figure out what like my purpose is and how that kind of drives me and what the rest of my life looks like. I'm 43 now. So what does the next 40 years look like?
What is your purpose?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess because growing up so religious, your purpose is to, be good to the world and try to reach out and get them saved, essentially, right? And I don't know if that's...
How are you going to do that?
Well, this is a good start.
All right.
All
right. You got a purpose.
Yeah.
And you are going to do marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to do it in a way that I talk about a business. A business basically has 3 financial statements
Yeah.
that it monitors their health, their state. Okay? So, how do we monitor our life? How do we monitor its health and state? And I have 3. Number 1, come alive. Be alive. We were all of us were given basically one thing under grace, because none of us deserved it, but we wouldn't be here without it.
Yeah.
We were all given a life. Okay? Now we can ask some deep questions. What is life?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to go there. We can.
We can at some point. Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah.
But the second thing, be the best. Okay? You determine what that is. Whatever it is, I hate these cliches. Be your best self.
Right.
No. I'm not going to try to be my best self. I'm going to be the best at what I do in the whole damn world.
Right.
Okay? And I say it at the end of my book, but that is for me right now.
Yeah.
The third thing, come alive, be the best, make a difference. Just do those.
Yeah.
Now you got to.
I think those are 3 of the Buddhist things that could work out pretty well, honestly, if you just focused on those things for your own life.
Yeah, and if you do that, you got to dig deeper in all of those, a little bit deeper. What is it personally to you? But what does it mean to come alive? Okay, because I think in John 10:10 it says, I gave you a life. Enjoy it. And then in some of the translations, it goes to a third part. It says something about enjoy the life I gave you. And I'm going to get this wrong, but live it fully. And then in one of them, it says to overflowing. Let's talk about life.
Yeah.
Fully?
And what does that look like?
Well, life goes from a score of 0, okay?
Yeah.
'Cause shit happens, to a score of 10, okay? Fully, you live the whole damn thing. I say in the book, I said, how did I put it? I said, life is like chaos. I forgot how I put it. Chaos and peace.
I'll put it over in the video.
Yeah, it's tragedy and joy.
Yeah.
It's rage and love, all at the same time. Think about it. Okay, we could be ecstatic, and then you get a phone call.
Right. Depressed and angry.
Car accident. Your kids are in it. Boom. You just went from here to here. Okay. And then you find out, oh, everybody's cool.
Yeah.
Boom. You're back up over. It's everywhere, all at the same time. So what's our purpose? What is our mission? It's to find purpose in this chaos. We're given chaos. Life is, in some ways, it's not always chaos. In some ways, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's why I like to use the ocean as a metaphor.
Right.
Ocean is absolutely incredible. Okay? I call it my source because we all came from the ocean at one point. But at the same time, it'll kick your butt.
Yeah.
And it don't care. That's the thing. It don't give a diddly squat what it does to you. Okay? But you better understand it because that's where you came from. Okay? So we gotta find purpose in all of this and meaning. You get into guys like Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
In his book, that's kind of
That's a tough one, but
It's
amazing.
all about purpose and meaning.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had a chance to leave the camp, but he was making a difference with some people,
Right.
and he stayed for a little while.
Which is crazy. But it's very admirable, you know, but he was finding meaning there as well
he
and
didn't do
making
it.
a difference.
He didn't do it for admiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, you get back, you know, all these things go together. And people say, oh, I want to be happy. There's books written, happiness. You know, I thought about that one. And there's also books saying, no, it comes and goes. Purpose, it's an anchor. I compared the purpose to like the reef when you're diving in deep water.
Yeah.
You move away from the reef, you lose orientation. You get back to the reef. Okay, now you got an anchor. You know where you are. Okay, purpose is very similar. Okay, it's an anchor among some other things. But
So for people that are struggling with finding a purpose or whatever, are there any like tools they could?
oh yeah, everybody wants a tool.
No, you just gotta be looking for it, sort of.
You know what? We talked about revelation. Finding my purpose is a revelation. There's only one way to get good revelations. You can do some reading, but then you got to enter the adventure.
Right.
Maybe get your butt kicked a little bit.
Right.
Try this, try that. Get to know people, build up your group, a whole bunch. You do a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're going to find out what your purpose. You'll find it.
Yeah.
It will be a revelation, but you gotta be like Lewis and Clark.
Right.
You gotta take those steps.
You actually have to get in the water, you know, actually do something about it.
Was like I said, for me, the ocean was the metaphor.
Yeah.
Get in the ocean. You don't know what's going to happen.
Right. So you mentioned you go night diving. That's a little scary. I mean, I haven't even been scuba diving once. I've actually dealt with a lot of anxiety over the years off and on, and I've tried, you know, tools or whatever, but a lot of it is just kind of like you're saying, just do it. You know, I even had anxiety about having this space because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I felt yeah, but I know how to talk to somebody. Just talk, you know? But, you know, so that's like I haven't ever gone scuba diving, but that might be something. There's a school like not too far from here, just to do it because it scares me. It might not be my calling, right? But, you know, I probably would love it because I do love crystal clear water. And
like the water.
Yeah, I love the water. But I would just, you know, I guess if you're practicing, then you're in a pool. Everything's okay. Getting used to the anxiety part of it. So, you know, the night diving part though is pretty intense. Was that like, okay, first time I'm just going to go diving at night?
You know, I started diving when I was in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So, and I that's one of the things I have regret. I just regret that I never started earlier.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but I was
That's what everyone
around.
says.
Yeah,
honestly.
says, darn, I wish this is one. And you know what? That's what we're all going to do. We're going to be older.
Yeah.
And there's going to be these things, and we're going to say, I didn't do that. Thing is, a lot of them we know them right now.
Right.
Better damn well do them.
Right.
You will regret it.
Yeah.
Especially if you already know it.
Right.
Scuba diving is one I wish I would have started earlier, but you know what? Things happen at the right time. I was in the Philippines.
Perfect place to start.
Two of my really good friends, they were going to start up a course. Okay. So Mike, I want you to be on this. So I did it. But when I was in Saudi Arabia, I had a couple buddies that were very, very good divers. And they say, go with us. Well, I wasn't certified. But I'm in the middle of the desert. Nobody gives a...
Yeah. They're not checking
whatever.
papers.
And, I was a good swimmer, all these things. I do not advocate it.
Yeah. Just telling people.
Yeah, but I would go with them. And diving in the Red Sea was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Okay? Because you walk out, you're on the road. One side is all sand. The other side is the Red Sea. It's about waist deep going out a ways, maybe an eighth of a mile.
Oh, wow.
And then it starts to go down a little bit. You're at the top of the reef. You put your mask on. You go down underneath. And it's just, the life is just massive. It's just everywhere. I said, yeah, let's put on the tanks. I'm ready.
That's awesome.
It was just amazing. Because above the surface, there's no life at all.
Right, exactly.
And underneath, it was just incredible. And I could look over the reef down, and you could see the sharks going back and forth. And so I kind of grew up. I kind of had these experiences. And then I started diving in the Philippines. Again, I was in very remote places with people that were really good. So I never really had any concerns or fears.
Okay.
And most of these people were a little crazy anyway, but I was so used to
experienced.
But experienced.
Yeah.
And I was around them so much, I didn't realize that there's a way you're supposed to dive. And I didn't know that until I came back to the United States. And I'd tell stories, and the dive masters,
like,
their mouths would be open, and we don't really want you to dive with us.
Yeah.
You're going to give everybody the wrong impression. We're trying to teach them something else. But it was just, the experiences were incredible. And then to go on a night dive was not that big of a deal. It is a big deal, but nobody said it was. So what did I know?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You go on the night dives.
You have like big flashlights, or
you have a flashlight. Okay. However, if there's a full moon, you don't need a flashlight.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not a lot of light, but you don't need a flashlight. But you take down a flashlight. The thing is, you can only see a little circle where that light is. Everywhere else around you, it's dark. Okay. And a lot of things that don't come out in the day, like a forest, they come out at night. So actually you see, in some ways you see a lot more. Animals come out, the colors are a little more vivid when you put the light on
Oh, yeah.
and such. But I talk about it in the book. We went down with a friend of mine, a very good diver from Australia. We're down. We're kneeling on the bottom, just adjusting things. Boom! Something hits me in the shoulder. What the heck is that? I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Hits me again. And then I see the tail. It's a shark. Okay?
Could you tell what type at that point?
No, but I knew that it was probably a white tip. Because there was a lot of white tips in this area.
Yeah.
And there are other types, but it was shallow water. I don't know. It's but not at that point. And so then there were more. And so, okay, you got two choices. You either get the heck out or you go along about your dive.
Yeah.
So we went about our dive. And we went over to the edge of the reef. At night, what the sharks will do, and we were in an area that's kind of remote. Okay, so sharks weren't really used to seeing us. So what they do, we'd go over to the edge of the reef, okay, and they'd swim at you, like full speed. And at the last minute, boom, they'd veer off to the side. They go back around. They were just testing you.
Trying to figure you out.
Just say, what is this? So they were concerned, okay, but we were concerned. But then we figured out they're probably not going to do anything. Okay. So
you almost have to tell yourself that so you don't panic and do something they would not like.
Yeah. But, sharks are, the danger of sharks is, I learned it's way overrated. Okay. And they're incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible animals. Okay. And I tell some more stories about dealing with the sharks, but I find that it's really bad because there's over 100,000 sharks killed every year. 100,000.
From commercial fishing?
Yeah. Mainly for commercial fishing. And they really are incredible animals, and they're not the way, not always the way that they're portrayed in movies.
Yeah.
They're around the whole world. You know how many shark attacks there are?
In the hundreds a year, maybe? Less than that?
It's about mid-60s.
Wow.
That's the whole world. And just
99% of those are you're in their territory anyway, or you're in between
mainly,
a fish or
you're
something.
kind of hey, I don't belong in the ocean. They do.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
So anywhere I go is not my territory. And out of those 60 attacks, I think, I don't know, I've heard different numbers. It's a fraction that are actually fatal.
Right.
Okay, most of them aren't. But man, I think
but that doesn't sell movies.
doesn't sell. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. But people, I think, have this. We got to take better care. Of the sharks and a whole variety of other animals.
Do you think there's any way to do that realistically?
Through what we're doing right here is one way.
Awareness,
just basic awareness. There are, I could tell you, there's a couple places I know, like down in Florida, around Jupiter. One's called Tanner something, and the other one's called Florida Shark Dives. And what they do is they take people out. You don't have to be a diver. They'll take you out with a mask and a snorkel, okay? And you'll go out into the water, and they will have the sharks come up. Okay, you can see videos of them, and they do it in Hawaii, they do it in Baja, Mexico, they do it all over. And you find out that, they'll come up, you put your hand out, okay, if they're coming at you, you just put it on the nose, and you can just slowly direct it over here. I've seen videos. I've done that, but I've seen videos where divers have gone in. There may be like a hook or something in the side of their mouth. The shark will let them remove the hook. And when they do, the shark becomes almost very affectionate.
Yeah.
Okay? They'll let you put your arm around them.
Wow.
They understand. They're not stupid, uncontrolled man-eaters.
Right.
You find those in New York.
Yeah. That's for sure. Or Vegas,
Or Vegas, yeah.
Vegas, yeah.
Really. They follow certain rules and laws that promote life, not destroy life. That's the way nature is. And you start to learn this. I just wish there was a way I could get that message out, but
well, honestly, if you're doing more books, I think the speaking engagements and stuff will start to flow a bit easier because you have something to promote specifically. And then, especially if you write another one too, the more you do with that and the more you can do promotion and stuff like that, then, it's totally possible. Because it really is awareness. Like, I don't know how, it needs to stop. No, it needs to decrease. There need to be some sort of regulations or something, but I wouldn't know what they are.
No, it's an area. That's a problem with the ocean. And, there's so much going on underneath.
Yeah, all the aliens.
But we don't. But we don't see it.
Yeah,
what you don't see,
right,
doesn't exist. And that's where we came from. Okay, and we have no idea what's going on. And I guarantee, our coral reefs are being destroyed.
Yeah.
And the whole ocean depends really on a small number
Right.
of coral reefs. It's not a lot. But
And you were at the, what was that? How do you say it? Tubata?
Tupataha.
Tubataha, yeah.
Yeah, that's a...
That looked beautiful. I looked that up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, on Google.
Oh, it's an amazing
beautiful
place. It's absolutely...
So is it just the reef that's kind of in the middle of nowhere?
What you have, there's a place in the middle of the Philippines. It's called the Sulu Sea, Sulu. And it's surrounded... Oh, you got Palawan on one side. I think you got the Visayan Islands on the other. I think a lot of the major, it's a large area, okay? Very, very large. And this Tupataha Reef is almost in the middle.
Okay.
And all it is you have this area that comes up. And some of it is just below sea level. Some of it's a little bit above. And then once you get away from it, it goes down. It goes down real quick to 6,000 feet depths.
So it would have been an island a couple thousand years ago, maybe.
It may be an island in another couple thousand years.
Yeah, 10,000 years ago, maybe.
A couple places that I talk about in Hawaii. There's going to be new islands in Hawaii.
Absolutely.
So I'll sell you some real estate.
I'll buy.
Yeah, but it's an incredible place, and the sea life's amazing. You can only dive there for about 3 months out of the year. After that, the visibility and such isn't all that great. But what's happening there is, and there's what I saw in Hawaii is that you can have a protected area. Okay, like no fishing, whatever it is, it's protected. That protected area does not have to be very big. It can be what seems like a small area, but it will have a tremendous impact. Long distances around it. So it's not that hard.
Right.
And there's people out there, I've worked a little bit as a volunteer, you build artificial reefs and such. But man, when we destroy these coral reefs, I say when.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Because the whole ocean ecosystem depends on a small number of reefs, and they happen to be close to shore. What I used to see, particularly in the Philippines, there was a lot of dynamite fishing.
Oh, geez.
Guy goes out in a little boat, makes up a little explosive, throws it over, basically just knocks out all these fish. He picks it up, takes off. However, if he's near a reef area, that reef is destroyed.
Yeah.
That's the last time he's going to do that.
Right.
Okay, you're going to have to wait a long time before there could ever be any fish there. So he goes out in a little boat. Of course, these people are not well educated, and they're in poverty.
Right.
What are they going to do?
They're thinking about food today.
So it's a bigger problem
Yeah.
than just an ecology problem. It's a social problem. And we better take care of these things.
Right.
Okay? I mean, I probably shouldn't say this. I'm not
I can cut it out if you want me to.
I don't care. I really don't. I'm just going to say what, I'm not big on climate change. However, I am big on the sewage going into the ocean, the trash going into the ocean, the illegal fishing, which is done by industrialized countries.
Right.
And I'm going to throw Japan and China under the bus on this one. Okay, they got to stop.
Right.
They got to stop. They can do some,
Right.
but not like they do. I used to see the large China fishing vessels come into the Tupataha Reef, which is protected. But the Philippines doesn't have the resources.
Right. What are they going to do? Start a war with China?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? And, okay, it's a reef. Nobody cares. We got to go protect people over here.
Right.
But it's going to kill.
Well, people are going to starve eventually. If we don't have any, we're just going to have factory farms, and that's all we're going to have protein for.
Yeah, but you know what? This is the way I look at it. Mother Nature is undefeated.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what? You may slow her down a little bit.
Right.
She's going to win in the end.
Yeah.
Not us.
We'll just end up killing ourselves or something stupid, nukes or something like that. Hopefully not, but hopefully we evolve
Mother Nature will
emotionally to start thinking smarter about these things, and that we need to be good stewards of, that's in Genesis, it talks about, that you're in charge of this.
You're in charge.
You're also in charge if it goes to hell.
Yeah, it's up to us.
You're still in charge.
Totally up to us.
Of the whole thing. So you talked in your book about, is it cancer of the eye that you had? So how was that? What kind of adventure was that? You still have it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I should qualify that.
Okay.
No, I don't. But I'm still undergoing surgeries.
Okay. And so what was it exactly, just for people that haven't read the book yet?
I've lived in the tropical eye. I lived in California for 20 years and in Saudi Arabia, around the Arabian Sea, the Red Sea for 5. And then I lived Southeast Asia islands, Indo-Pacific, Hawaii for another, what? I'm going to give away my age. Yeah. Another 30 years. Yeah. And so I had a lot of exposure to the sun. And not just the sun, reflected off the water and everything. In Hawaii, it's really common. It's called surfer's eye.
Okay.
And it's just a scar tissue that ends up growing over the surface of the eye. And I knew, when I was there, I knew a lot of kids in the high school that had it.
Oh, wow.
They were surfers.
Yeah.
They call it surfer's eye. It's no big deal. It could be corrected. But in my case, it became cancerous. Okay.
Is that because it took longer, or
you know what? I don't know. I really don't. Okay. But I was in Hawaii and I underwent a lot of surgeries, and it'd be okay for a year and a half and then it'd come back. Boom, come back. And then they said, "Man, you gotta go to the Wills Eye Clinic in Philadelphia." That's one of the reasons I came out here. Everybody's wondering, well, damn, you're living in Hawaii. What the hell?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that at some point. Why?
What are you doing out here?
It's cold and snowing right now.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I don't fit in. Believe me, I'm
ready to go back.
It's hard for me, but I came out and I was kind of traveling back and forth so I could go to the Wills Eye Clinic, and they basically fixed it. Okay, they gave me some, and they did it not with surgery. They used some drugs, took care of it, and then I just waited. Okay, I still mostly blind in this eye.
Oh wow.
However, the lens of my eye is fine. It's just the surface of the eye. It's like somebody put some Vaseline on my glasses. That's the way I see the world.
Okay. But your other eye is okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The other eye, I don't know. It's just old age.
Yeah.
Stuff,
just regular glasses.
Regular glasses and stuff. And so I waited because I thought, I don't want to do any more because this is going to may come back, do it all over again.
Right.
So now what they're doing is they say, okay, you look like you're cool now. No more cancer.
Great.
Okay, so now they're doing, in fact, I did one last year. I started some reconstructive. They had to fix my eyelids first, and now they're going to start taking off the scar tissue on the surface of my eye. And they may do they may combine it, or they may have to do another surgery where they take some stem cells out of this one.
Yeah, I was wondering about would stem cells help.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm not a doctor anymore. Yeah. But
played one on TV.
I pretend. You know? But there's a place there, I think, between the white part of your eye and the colored part. There's a little barrier of stem cells
Okay.
that do something. I don't know. And they need to replenish and rebuild that area. So I just did the reconstructive on the outside.
And how was that recovery-wise?
It was all right.
Getting used to it at this point?
Yeah, I still can't see anything.
Yeah.
Everybody wonders, well, how did you drive here?
Right. Well, no, one of my best friends, he's the drummer in the bands that I've been in, and he only has one eye since he was 2 years old, and he drives fine.
Oh, yeah,
drives better than most people.
Yeah, you can drive it's okay with one eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's zero eyes that we don't want to be driving anymore.
I wonder if they're really checking that, sometimes. But
Unless you got a Tesla or something, maybe.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I got the eye cancer, and then I've had, I've been doing little skin cancer surgery. That's the scar up here, and I got
melanoma, or
so.
I have had skin cancer in my family line.
Yeah,
so
I had so much sun.
Yeah, for 20 years, being very young. Yeah,
yeah. It's we used to. I mean, when I was growing up, it used to be, how burned can we get?
Yeah,
you know? And even when I went to a dermatologist for a while, just for basic acne.
Right.
And what they do is they put you under an ultraviolet light for a half hour. Mm-hmm. That was probably the worst thing they could have done. And maybe that's why my eyes messed up.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
so was this cancerous too?
Up here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, this one was really, I tend to let things go.
Yeah.
I let it go. It was just basic basal cell.
Yep.
No big deal. Mm-hmm. I let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, I got some cut off. I said, let it go. And then finally, I went to the doctor, and over in South Riding, I wish I could remember his name, but he says, you got to do a surgery. And I remember, he left, and the nurse kind of hung back. She says, you scheduled that right away. And I go, oh, shit, better. And
she knew you, or she knew the type of person, at least.
And it was bad, and they went in, and they cut everything out, and then they did a test. Mm-hmm. He says, man, we didn't get all of it.
Oh, no.
We got to go do some more. So I went back in, and they just went all the way down to the bone, and they probably ripped out more than what they needed.
Right, but in order for it not to come back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
that's a good lesson for you, to just do it.
You mean listen
to listen to your own book? Yeah.
No. In fact, no. That's listening to authority figures.
Oh yeah.
I've never done that.
Right.
That's part of my problem. I don't. Okay, and it's gonna nip you in the butt sometimes.
Right. Well, when it's a situation like this, I mean, that's what you want, to be able to, listen to wise counsel.
You're right. I probably should. And I say it in the book. I say at the end of that one chapter, the doctor said, Mike, quit going to the beach. And I say it there. I said, I just raised the middle finger.
Right.
So no, I'm gonna.
So you're not gonna not go to the beach anymore, right? So what are you gonna do? Do you just wear a hat and bunch of SPF and stuff? You don't really have to never go to the beach anymore, right?
Oh, I go.
Okay.
I go all the time. And
unless you're stuck here in Northern Virginia.
And you know what? SPF and everything's okay if you just stay on the beach.
Yeah.
If you go into the water,
it's gonna come off.
It's gonna come off, and the water acts as a magnifier. Mm-hmm. It's, you know what? If I die doing what I really enjoy.
Right. It's not the worst place to die.
And I take care of business.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Which I have, mostly. We're all going to go.
Yeah.
I'd rather go in the ocean.
Yeah.
Rather than in an old person's home.
Yeah, I don't want to. Nope.
But die on an adventure. That's just another book for somebody to write. Then.
Yeah. Maybe that's book 2.
Yeah, maybe I'll write it now.
Right. Have it as a backup.
Yeah.
Sell 1 million copies afterwards.
And then say, okay, this is the way I'm supposed to go. You got to match the buck, So.
Yeah, and you got into lifting, like powerlifting too. So how did that work? Was that age brackets and then weight brackets and stuff within that?
Yeah, let me tell you why I put that in. Is okay. I'll admit I turned 71.
Oh wow. Okay.
This weekend.
Nice.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And it was a couple of years ago. I went to watch my son. My son's like both of my boys. Oh, and my daughter. They're incredible athletes. And my one son was he started doing powerlifting. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he's really, really good. And he's rated nationally. And when I went to watch him down in Tennessee, and I noticed everybody.
Do you mind silencing that? Okay. It's just so it stops binging.
Oh, it is. I think it's okay.
Okay.
And I noticed, almost everybody was like 20, 30 years old. Mm-hmm. But I noticed a couple of people that were like over 40. Just a handful, like 5 or something out of 60. You have 60 lifters, roughly. And I watched, and I called my son over. I says, Cliff, I can do this.
I got you.
I says, I think I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I said, give me a workout. He said, okay. He gave me a workout, and I started working out. It was great because you go to the gym. Now I had a purpose.
Right, yeah.
Okay, which is really neat. But look at me. Come on. All right.
I mean, I'm
not
a huge guy either.
I know.
Yeah.
Do I look like a power lifter?
I mean, I wouldn't have guessed, but
I'm athletic.
Yeah.
I've always been, but I'm not these guys. Mm-hmm. People would come up to me. They're such a great group of people. Mm-hmm. Okay, very supportive. Okay, and I do my lifting, and people would come up to give me, the huge biceps, mass everywhere, massive thighs, lots of tattoos, lots of, piercing.
Yeah, is that how you met Cliff?
No.
He would fit in though.
But that was like the girls.
Yeah.
Everybody was just incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, I'm just going to do it. And the thing is, in my age group, I was in the now I'm in the 70 to 75 group. Mm-hmm. But when I started, I was in the 65 to 69 group. I set 8 state records.
Oh, wow.
Oh, don't be.
Is that Virginia or Hawaii?
Virginia.
Okay.
You can go online and look at them on USPA. I think they're still there. But the only reason I set them was I was the only one.
Well, that's convenient. Yeah.
But think about it.
Yeah.
How many 60, 70-year-olds are doing powerlifting?
They should be. As bone density gets worse and muscle mass gets less.
The more I learned, yes, they should be eating much higher protein.
Yeah.
Because
I mean that starts in your 40s even.
Especially 40s. That's when you start kind of going into that major decrease. Mm-hmm. Take more protein. Don't follow you take a lot of protein. And then do heavy lifting.
Yeah, where it feels almost uncomfortable, but don't hurt yourself. Where you pushing yourself and
push yourself.
Yeah, push yourself.
Yeah, don't. I think
injury is not good the older you get.
No, that's not good either. Yeah, but get a coach. There's a lot of coaches. A lot of people help me. But I ended up sitting 7. But like I said, it's not because I'm so great. It's just that, again, like I said at the beginning, get on the field.
Right.
Just step on the field.
Yeah.
And then go with it.
Right.
Okay. And then develop your plan as you learn more. Mm-hmm. What do we do, man? We says, oh, man, I got to make a plan. and I got to work out all these details and blah.
Well, and the
blah,
plan doesn't have to be perfect. Just start. You know, you'll figure it out.
Start, yeah. Just have a plan.
Yeah.
Start, then change it. Mm-hmm. Okay? What do they say? You know, that's how you make God laugh. You should tell him your plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely made him laugh once or twice.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So just, sometimes you just get, that's the whole first part of the chapters. Just get on the field.
Right.
I'm not ready. So what? What does that ready have to do with it?
Well, you never will be. That's the thing. That's the thing about being ready. I mean, you can be prepared, but because you don't know how the adventure is going to play out, you can't be 100% ready.
Yeah. But I say you're not totally, I'm not saying to be unready. No,
Right.
you got to be, you got to approach it with a little, you know, I'll say common sense.
Right.
Come on. But, you know, I didn't go in there and say, well, I'm not going to win, or I'm not, you know, so I'm not going to do it. No, I just did it.
Right.
You know,
And the byproduct is the winning because you just did it.
You did it. Yeah, I got the medal, I
Yeah.
got the records. But you know what? People, I met some incredible people, which is what it's all about.
Right.
And you know what? If you're lucky, maybe you'll inspire somebody. Okay? If I can go in at 70 into a powerlifting competition,
Yeah.
okay, as skinny as I am, you know, and have the experience that I had. Not just
Right.
lift and set records, but just having a great experience with good people. Then other people should be, that's what they should be doing. Have good experiences with good people.
Right.
That's what it all comes down to.
You don't, because I mean, another great thing is that doing that, you know, starting later, like most people don't start, and there's other health effects by not, you know, you're not as limber, you're not as strong, you fall, you break your hip, and then it's all, you know, then it's all downhill, right?
You're down.
You know, but if you're strong and you're flexible, like, so my wife and I work out like 5 days a week, and part of my thing as I've gotten a little older is to work in more mobility and like hip stuff and, you know, things that are, you know, more flexibility instead of just strength training. And I think I'm more flexible now than I was at 35.
Yeah.
You know, like 8 years ago, because I'm doing this different stuff. But I watched my great aunt. She was like 98 when she passed, but she was swimming every day and she was just still doing it.
Yes.
You know, and she was the only one of her, you know, siblings that made it past early 80s, but she was, you know, religiously at the gym and active. Yeah.
No, that's, it's amazing. What, you know, we're under the false impression that, you know, as you get older, you got to be more careful. No, not necessarily.
Right.
As you get older, you got to be more, I'll call it adventurous.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't mean stupid. Okay. There's a place in my book, I say, you gotta be powerful, passionate, and dangerous. However, you know, you balance the power with empowerment. Okay? You balance the passion with compassion. Okay? Then you balance the danger with, you can say, self-control or self-discipline. Okay? Power, in some cases, powerful people have a bad name. But you got to have, if you're going to do anything good, you got to have some power too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
balance power with empowerment. You'll be fine. Yeah. Passion. Oh, I can have a passion for, you know, chocolate ice cream like everybody. No, but
I'm a cookies and cream guy.
all right. But, so passion.
Or a waffle cone.
No, it's not just passion. You balance it with compassion. You know, you're passionate, but in the interest of yourself, your family,
Yeah.
and other people. What does chocolate ice cream have to do with that? I'm sure we can make up something.
Well, you could make a chocolate ice cream brand and then, give proceeds to some people,
All right, whatever it is.
You can figure something out in anything.
Balance it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I make a healthy,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Right.
Become
High protein version, maybe.
passionate, but in the interest of yourself, your family, your friends, and other people.
Right.
Now, passion is good. Because there's some people out there with some
Yeah.
weird passions, man. They're not
They're not using the
They're
compassion part of it.
and then
Yeah.
danger. You got to be dangerous.
Let me see if I had any other specific things. I don't think so. So you're here because of the doctors in Philly?
Yeah.
Do you have family in
Well, what happened?
Ashburn or Northern Virginia?
Yeah, I came here for basically two reasons. I came here to see the doctors in Philly, okay, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do some different things in work, So I got a job with the Pentagon.
Okay.
All things, in risk management.
Okay.
That's my specialty.
Okay.
But I'm.
It's ironic.
Yeah. And I specialize in high risk situations.
Okay.
Okay. People say they do risk management, but I'm telling you, most risk management people do is crap.
Yeah.
It really is, because they have no idea what risk really is in a company.
Yeah.
But some companies do. So working like in the Philippines and whatever, it's high risk, and you better learn to deal with it real quick. And then the other thing was, my younger son was going to university down in Tennessee, and he was on their baseball team. So I was working for the Pentagon, watching my son play ball down in Tennessee and doing my doctor's treatments. And then one thing led to another.
Still here.
I met a beautiful woman.
Oh, really? Congrats.
Well, yeah, we got married, had a beautiful little girl.
Congrats.
But, I'm not, it's my fault. I mean, I'm fun to be with.
A little risky, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was very anti-risk. And she kind of kept my daughter away from me when we go to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're not going out there with him. Yeah, but I get it.
Yeah.
And we ended up, we were kind of like really, really good friends.
Okay.
And we still are.
Yeah.
And we got divorced, good friends, and doing a lot of neat things together still. But our personality, but she's become more risky too, and she loves it.
That's good.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I've learned that if you're going to be risky, you got to be responsible, because people depend on you.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? You, like I said, you can be dangerous, but you got to have self-discipline. That's why I say that. You have to be dangerous.
Right.
But have self-discipline. Why? Because people depend on me. And I want to tell my story. If I'm not here, how am I going to tell it?
Yeah. Yeah. You expect someone else to tell it?
Yeah, it took
They
me,
wouldn't have your unique perspective, even if they were telling it about you.
Yeah, and it took me, it took me a lifetime to just figure out that.
Yeah.
But again, you have these revelations. Okay. Other people, I know younger people that got these same revelations and they're only 30 years old.
Right.
Me, took me till I got into my 60s. But that's cool.
Yeah. It's better than not getting them.
Well, and everybody has their own unique story.
Right.
It doesn't have to, nobody's story is the same. That's why I say we share it,
Yeah.
but I'll share my story, but don't follow me.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because your outcome won't be the same as mine.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not, for sure. So how can people get the book? Is it on Amazon or anything?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's been on Amazon for a couple weeks.
Okay.
It's in paperback and ebook. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's $200 a copy.
Yeah.
No, I put it out there pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. It's not expensive.
Right.
I've written books in the past. Mm-hmm. I've written 5 books about information technology. Yeah. You don't make money off books. I don't care what they tell you. You're not going to make money off books. Okay.
It's just I didn't make money off my albums. I made a little bit, here and there, but it's more about, the, especially more, this more memoir sort of style, like, it's your story, and all the songs that I wrote, they were my stories. You know what I mean?
However, you can use it. Like what I'm starting to do is getting more into keynote speaking. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't want to be a coach. However, I will work with other coaches.
Okay.
Okay. What I tell other coaches is, I says, you do your coaching and you got to get people up to a certain level. Mm-hmm. When they get up to a certain level, now they go with me.
Okay.
And I tell people, I'm not for everybody.
Right.
In fact, I'm only for very few. Mm-hmm. And so I got the book. Okay. I got the keynotes. Mm-hmm. Okay. When I talk about a variety of things. Yeah. And I'm putting together I'm putting some programs together for different groups. Mm-hmm. High school, I've been asked to talk to high school students. Oh, cool. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
To learn what young people are dealing with today. Mm-hmm. And they said, Mike, we want you to talk to them.
Yeah. I think that'd be great, personally.
Oh, man. And,
And at 16, 18, like trying to figure out what is my adventure when it's not sex, drugs, and rock and roll or whatever, like how can is it college?
Man. What I find out is a lot of the young people, they're dealing with incredible levels of anxiety.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And, there's things they should not be worrying about. Mm-hmm. In fact, there are things I don't think anybody should be worrying about.
Right.
At least not a high priority.
Yeah.
You got to give them, okay, you don't just say, don't think about it. You got to give them something else.
Right.
And this is still in progress, but I'll say it, is I'm putting together a program, mm-hmm. basically, where, like I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to go diving. And not scuba diving unless mm-hmm. you want to, but it's because most people don't scuba dive. They don't need to be scuba diving.
Yeah.
We're going to go snorkeling mm-hmm. off a boat, fairly deep water, and we're going to have shark encounters.
Cool.
Now, I don't mean we're going to go look at them. Okay? You're going to be touching them.
Oh, wow.
Now, for some people, just getting in deep water is a big deal.
Yeah.
So you got to do this. You may do it over a month.
Right.
Okay? They may not even get to the point mm-hmm. where they get to encounter a shark.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah. They're still doing what scares them and progressing. Yeah.
And then go a step further. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's scare some more. Go a step further. Hey, all of us, we can only do that for so long.
Yeah.
At some point, you say, okay,
I'm good.
I've done what I need to do. Mm-hmm. Let's take these new skills I have and new attitude and let's go do something useful with them.
Right.
So that's the program I'm trying to put together. But right now I'm going to do another book.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Same sort of material, like sort of
it's just
enlightenment, motivational.
There's a man I met in the gym. Mm-hmm. I'd see him come in. He could barely walk, had a cane, had a huge neck brace on. He had a brace going down his back. Mm. But he'd come into the gym every day and lift weights. Mm. Very small weights, but he'd lift all the time. One day I says, dude, did you have a stroke? He goes, no, in perfect language. Mm. So I knew his speech was perfect. He told me what he had. I can't remember what it was. But he can't hold his head up, and he told me about it. I says, dude, you ever think about writing a book? because he was telling me he just went skiing
Wow.
last week. And what did they do? They put him in a chair.
Yeah.
And he had the most incredible accident I'd ever seen. The instructor he was with separated his shoulder, needs to have surgery. He went over head first.
Ooh.
He's just really sore.
Yeah.
He was in Colorado. I said, you got to tell your story.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going skydiving with a buddy of mine.
So he's living.
Yes. He can barely move. But we go to lunch, we talk, and I says, look, I want you to do a book. He says, I never thought about it. But then a week later, he says, Mike, we got to do this. I know we do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to help him.
Yeah, that's great.
It'd be his story.
Yeah.
Totally different than mine.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to do one with my son, whose daughter just been going through this
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah.
And he had a suicide attempt incident and a lot of other things.
Yeah.
I said, man, you got some good stuff here. Because now he took it to a whole new level. He's incredible athlete. And the other guy, Ed. So I'm helping these people I want to help them put their
That's awesome.
their thing together. Then do some keynotes.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to do coaching, to be honest. And I'm not, you go on to LinkedIn, they talk about, I work with
Yeah.
what do you call it?
Yeah.
What do they call it? High net worth, whatever,
Right,
CEOs.
Yeah.
I'm going, they don't need help, dude.
Right.
They do. In fact, maybe they need more help than all the
Yeah.
rest of it. No, let's work. Let's work with people that don't even know how to spell coach.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of kids that we need to work with. Mm-hmm. And you're going to make any money? No. You're not going to make no. But you're going to get paid more.
Right.
You're going to get paid more than those.
Speaking of high school people, there's you may have come across them, but there's a young couple. They're like 21. They're doing like youth development coaching. They might be a good person for me to connect you with.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'm meeting a lot of people. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. The people that I'm starting to meet. And it's funny because you got to be careful on this stuff.
Yeah.
Because when I first started 2 years ago, it's real easy. You're telling your story. Oh, then you get into yourself.
Oh, right. You have to be willing to do that if it's going to make for a good story.
But yeah, you got to do that. But it can't be. It can't be about you. And I got caught up in that, and I stopped for a while. I says, no, you got to get back. I don't want to say because I don't want to sound righteous. So I'm not even going to use the words. But you really got to make it about other people. And if you're doing it for the money,
Right.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But I found I'm not going to work with, high worth CEOs.
Yeah.
I will.
Right.
And I'm going to charge them 10 times more.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I will.
So, do you have an Instagram or Facebook or just for people to follow you for the other stuff you're doing?
What you do is what I did.
Or website?
I set it up on Linktree.
Yep.
Okay. And it's in the back of the book.
Okay.
It's just, you go into Linktree and my username is just X.
Okay.
Mike Hawkins.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put that in the
X.
description of the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just X Mike Hawkins X.
Got to get you to sign this for me
Oh.
as we wrap up. So thank you for coming on.
Oh, hey,
I'll get you on again when your next book comes out.
There's a lot more to talk about.
Exactly. And I'll have a lot more listeners by then.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hope you get a ton of listeners.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
like I really like what your approach.
Thank you.
You know?
Appreciate it. I actually read the book, so that's good.
Oh, that's cool.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.